What if the person you fell in love with could make you forget everyone you once held dear? Your family, your past, your very identity. Amara was beautiful, with eyes as deep and dark as a midnight sky, and long flowing hair, the color of raven feathers. Her skin was pale, and her lips a shade of red that could only be compared to a freshly plucked cherries. To any man who looked upon her, Amara was irresistible. But beneath her enchanting beauty lay a heart as cold and cruel as a winter storm. Amara was not like the other women of her village. From a very young age, she had always felt different, separate from the people around her. While other children played and laughed, Amara wandered alone through the forest and fields, whispering to the wind, listening to the murmurs of the earth beneath her feet. It was during one of these solitary wanderings that she stumbled upon an ancient book hidden deep within a forgotten cave. The pages of the book were yellowed with age, the text written in a language long dead. But Amara could read it as though it were written for her. The book contained powerful spells and incantations, secrets that had been lost to time. Amara, driven by curiosity and insatiable desire for control, began to study its contents. As the years passed, she masters the dark arts, learning how to bend the will of others, a spell that allowed her to make any man she slept with forget everything about his past life, including his family. I used this spell without hesitation. She had grown bitter over the years, seeing how men treated the women of the village, using them and then discarding them without a second thought. She wanted revenge, but more than that, she wanted power. She wanted to be the one who held men's fate in her hands, and so she lured them in, one by one, with her beauty and her charm. They would fall into her arms, drunk on desire, and when they woke up the next morning, they would have no memory of their wives, their children, their lives before her. They would belong to her completely, their hearts and minds erased. They only thought of Amara. For a while, this gave Amara a sense of satisfaction, seeing the power she had over these men, watching as they left behind their families, wandering aimlessly through the village, lost and confused, their lives shattered by her magic. But as time passed, Amara began to feel a hollow emptiness growing inside her. The pleasure she had once taken in her revenge began to fade, replaced by a deep sense of isolation. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, casting a golden glow over the village, Amara stood by the window of her small cottage, staring out of the world she had once thought she would control. A knock at the door startled her from her thoughts, and when she opened it, she found a stranger standing on her doorstep. The man was tall and broad-shouldered, with a face withered by years of hard work. His eyes were a piercing blue, and there was a quiet strength about him that intrigued Amara. He introduced himself as Elias, a traveler passing through the village. Unlike the other men, who had come to her. Elias did not seem to be immediately captivated by her beauty. He was polite but distant, and this only made Amara more determined to win him over. Over the next few days, Amara did everything in her power to charm Elias, but he remained reserved, never giving in to the temptation that she knew so many others had fallen prey to. He would talk to her, but his eyes never lingered on her face the way other men did. He seemed more interested in her thoughts, in the things she had to say, rather than in her beauty. This frustrated Amara, but at the same time it intrigued her. For the first time in her life, she found herself wanting something more than just control over a man's mind. She wanted to know Elias, to understand him in a way she had never cared to understand anyone else. And slowly, over time, something inside her began to change. One night, after weeks of quiet conversation and shared moments, Elias kissed her. It was gentle, unlike any kiss she has experienced before. For the first time, Amara felt something stir inside her that was not born of magic or manipulation. It was real, and it frightened her. As they lay together that night, Amara made the decision not to use her spell on Elias. She wanted him to remember her, to remember everything about his life before her. But as the dawn broke and Elias awoke, something strange happened. He looked at her with the same empty eyes that she had seen in so many other men before him. He had forgotten. Panic seized Amara as she realized that the spell had taken hold on him without her casting it. She tried to reverse it, but no matter what she did, Elias could not remember his family, his home, or the life he had before her. The magic had become a part of her, a curse that she could no longer control. Days turned into weeks, and Elias remained by her side, unaware of the life he had left behind. Amara's heart ached with guilt, knowing that she had taken something from him that she could never give back. She had wanted power, but now all she felt was regret. One evening, as they sat together by the fire, Elias asked her a question that shattered the fragile peace she had tried to build around them. Who was I before I met you? Amara looked into his eyes, tears welling up in her own. She had no answer for him, only the weight of her own actions pressing down on her like a stone. You had a family, she whispered, her voice trembling. You had a wife and children. I took them from you. Elias stared at her with confusion and sorrow clouding his face. Why? Amara could not bring herself to explain the depth of her selfishness, the cruelty of her desires. She had wanted to be loved, to be worshipped, but in her quest for power, she had destroyed the very thing she had longed for. I am sorry, she said, her voice breaking. I didn't know what I was doing. But the apology felt hollow, empty. There was no undoing the damage she had caused. That night, as Elias slept beside her, Amara made a decision. She would leave him, free him from the curse she had placed upon him. She packed her things quietly, slipping out of the cottage without a sound. As she walked away from the village, She could feel the magic inside her stirring, pulling at her like a chain, but she ignored it, determined never to hurt another soul again. Amara disappeared into the wilderness, leaving behind the life she had built on lies and deceit. She wandered for years, searching for redemption, but always carrying the weight of her past with her, a constant reminder of the consequences of her actions. In the end, Amara found no peace, no forgiveness. She had used her beauty and her magic to take what she wanted, but in doing so, she had lost everything that truly mattered. And in the quiet moments, when the wind whispered through the trees and the stars shone overhead, she would remember the man she had loved and the family she had stolen from him. The moral of this story is that the pursuit of power and control over others, especially through manipulation and deceit, can lead to irreversible harm, not only to those affected, but also to the one who wields it. True fulfillment cannot be found in the subjugation of others, and those who seek to dominate through selfish means will ultimately find themselves isolated and lost. Real love and connection cannot be forced or taken. They must be earned through trust, respect, and mutual understanding. If you can still hear my voice, thank you for watching this story to the end. But please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment where you're watching from. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your constant support. You are the real MVP. See you in my next video. Bye.